Hello guys, you're watching SportsBanter38, Coach Carroll here, and with the college football preview wrapped up, we're going to get started on NFL before the season officially starts next Thursday. And just a heads up, the way this is going to work is we're going to start with two divisions, one from the AFC, one from the NFC, and then we're going to do 4 different videos on the divisions. Once I'm done with the last 2 divisions I'm doing, I will show the playoff setup for both the AFC on that last video and the NFC on that last video. And I'm not going to pick any winners. I'm just going to show on the last 2 divisions for each conference who qualifies for the playoffs and the seeding and all that stuff. And then I will do an additional video that will include my picks for all the playoff winners as well as the Super Bowl. So that's how that's how the whole NFL preview is going to work. And if you're liking the video so far, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment on the videos. I want to know if you agree or you disagree. It doesn't matter. I mean, I just want to get some good discussion going on this content, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the previews. I'm going to start with the AFC East on this video, and then we will conclude with the NFC East. And rounding it out, we're going to start with the bottom of the AFC East. We have some people going with the Jets to finish on the bottom. I have noticed. Me personally, I am going to start with the Dolphins on the bottom of this division, just because I'm not really sold on the Dolphins, and the reasoning behind that is they haven't been able to stay healthy at quarterback. Apparently Ryan Tannehill is healthy and he will be available this year starting, but they've lost some good players to go along with that, which would include Jarvis Landry, center Mike Pouncey, defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh. He's been a dominant player on the line. He hasn't been very consistent with the Dolphins, but he is a talented player. I just, are they not using him correctly, or is he just not fitting into their scheme? I don't know, but that is a big loss for the Dolphins. They did bring in a few guys that could help them out though. Danny Amendola, wide receiver, running back Frank Gore. He may still have a little left in the tank. I'm not sure. Center Daniel Kilgore, maybe he steps in and starts. And quarterback Bryce Petty. I'm assuming he didn't work out with the Jets. Of course, the Jets just drafted Sam Darnold, so we'll see how that goes. But, Tannehill, since he's been in the league, has had a 37-40 record. So even when he's healthy, I don't know if he's the answer for the Dolphins or not. I'm not particularly sold on the Dolphins for making the playoffs or anything like that. And I'm not sold on them, honestly, outdueling the Jets for the bottom of this division. And I can see like a 4 or 5 win team. Maybe they're, I guess, I'm gonna say they're 4-12. I can see them kind of flopping a little bit this year. I'm not really sold on them. That's just the way it's looking to me right now. With some of the guys they have coming back, and some of the guys that let's see, I'm going to look at their depth chart. Of course, they got Keenan Drake, his running back from Alabama. This will be his second year. He kind of came in and did a pretty good job last year, so he's going to get that starting spot. And then you got Ryan Tannehill, of course, at quarterback. Looks like they're going to get Amendola in there at wide receiver. Center Kilgore is going to come right in and start based on the list I'm looking at. Now, will that happen? I don't know. Some of their draft selections that might help them, of course, Mika Fitzpatrick out of Alabama. He's a great defensive back. They don't have him necessarily penciled in to start right away, but I believe he's going to end up on the field somewhere starting, whether even if it's just that nickel. But when you pick a guy first round of the draft, then you're expecting to get some production out of him. So anyway, I guess I'm looking at the Dolphins at about 4-12. Looking at their record, or their schedule rather. Say they got of course, road game at New England, and then they're going. New England will be coming to Miami. I believe New England will probably sweep them more than likely. They got to go on the road to Houston, on the road at Green Bay, at Buffalo, at Minnesota. They got some pretty rough road games, and I don't see them doing extremely well. So about four wins is what I'm seeing out of them. I'm just not seeing a whole lot. Moving up the next spot in the AFC East, I've got the Jets. And, of course, the Jets, the big news with them is that they drafted Sam Darnold. And so far, if you've been following the preseason, he's actually looked pretty good so far. And it's looking like he is going to end up starting for the Jets this year, this early in in his career, which should be a good deal for them. All right. Some of the guys they got coming in: Isaiah Crowell from the Browns. He's a good running back for them. That should fit in pretty nice with what they do. Wide receiver Terrell Pryor, also from the Browns. He's pretty good. Running back Thomas Ross from the Seahawks. He did okay for the short amount of time after once they started using him more regularly. Linebacker Avery Williams from the Titans. Not like a super linebacker, super player or anything, but he is a really good, serviceable player that will help them out. And of course, some of the guys they lost, Matt Forte, Bryce Petty, good players who, whether it be contract or whatever, didn't necessarily work out with the Jets. So, Todd Bowles, I feel like can get this team moving in the right direction at least this season. I feel like Sam Darnold is going to be, a good fit for what the Jets are going to want to do. They're going to do a typical pro style offense. Depth chart. Let's see what we got. Okay, Bilal Powell, running back, will be the starter, and Isaiah Crowell will also play at running back. In Rawls, that they're going to have a pretty good rotation in the running back position. Wide receiver, they have got Robbie Anderson and who else? Jermaine Kearse. He should be, and then at tight end they got Leggett, who I feel like is going to be able to have a good breakout year this year. Of course, some of the guys they got in the draft: Sam Darnold, defensive tackle Nathan Shepard, they got him in the 3rd round. Tight end Chris Herndon in the 4th round. I think this team, they should be okay defensively, just to give Darnold enough time to build up some experience and get used to playing in the NFL, pick up on the game speed. And I feel like they may have a slow start, but I actually think they could pick it up on the backside of their schedule. And, looking at their schedule, it doesn't look like it's too terribly tough. You know, they're going on the road a few times. Of course, they're splitting with New England on the road, and there it's the same division. So they'll probably lose, but they generally do a good job against the Patriots. They could be one of those teams that splits with the Patriots. Now, that's not necessarily the way it could work out, but, you know, coming off a 4-win or a 5-win season, you know, I honestly think they can maybe pick up 3 more wins and wind up somewhere around 8-8. They're probably not in the playoffs, and I got them losing both games to the Bills this year because I got the Bills one ahead of them, and you know, but Darnold will have a outside shot at getting Rookie of the Year because I believe he's going to start right off the bat. Looking at a lot of the publications, they don't have him starting. They've got McCown in there, Josh McCown. Personally, I don't see McCown beating Darnold out. I just feel like Darnold's the more talented player, and I feel like Bowles will go ahead and just go with Darnold. Okay, moving on. Second in this division, I have got the Buffalo Bills. Of course, head coach Sean McDermott, and they actually drafted a quarterback as well. They got Josh Allen at number 7. They got Tremaine Edmonds, inside linebacker, in the first round at number 16 from Virginia Tech. Look for him to be an immediate impact player. As far as Allen goes, he's going to be in the quarterback competition with A.J. McCarron, former Alabama quarterback, and Nathan Peterman, former Pittsburgh quarterback. 2 good college quarterbacks. They were all good college quarterbacks. Out of those 3, Allen is clearly the most talented, and I have to believe that he will eventually emerge as the starter there. They were a playoff team last year, you know, and I feel like they can possibly get in the playoffs again. It just depends on how the rest of the divisions shake out. And me personally, I've got them basically splitting at 8-8. Them and the Jets both are 8-8, but I've got the Bills winning both games that are head to head, and that'll give them the it'll give them the edge over the Jets. Of course, they've still got LaShawn McCoy at running back, and Tre'Davious White. He's their defensive captain. Of course, he's let's see. Tre'Davious White is their top cornerback. You know, he's got a chance to have a big year. Josh Allen, I feel like, is going to end up starting. Of course, he's got LaShawn McCoy, and he's got Kelvin Benjamin at wide receiver, along with O'Leary and Clay at tight end. And he has also got, where's it at? Chris Ivory is one of the running backs. Zay Jones at wide receiver. You know, they've got some pieces there where they could have some success. I don't necessarily believe that they're going to blow it up this year particularly, but 8-8 would be a reasonable pick for the Bills, of course. And then we're going to the New England Patriots, and what can I say? That they were in the Super Bowl again. They've been competing for Super Bowls for the past 20 years or so. So, of course, you got Tom Brady, but possibly the best quarterback who ever played the game. I don't know that for sure, but Tom Brady's a good player. Actually, Tom Brady's a great player. Coach Bill Belichick. You got Gronkowski at tight end. They did lose Deion Lewis to the Titans, but they brought in they drafted Sony Michel, who in my opinion is a better version of Deion Lewis. I feel like he's going to fill in for the Patriots and just do really well there. They drafted Isaiah Wynn from Georgia Bulldogs, another great offensive lineman. He'll step right in and probably play right away. Duke Dawson from Florida is a good cornerback. They always make smart decisions when it comes to draft and free agency and those sorts of things. Of course, they got Ryan Burkhead starting, is penciled in as the starter, but Michel's going to end up starting for the Patriots. I don't even, I'm not even questioning that whatsoever. Of course, the linebacker Dante Hightower, one of the best players in the NFL, defensive players in my opinion. Maybe this defense will step up and play a little better. Maybe they won't. They did sign not Danny Amendola, but Becker from the Titans. Let's see. Now, Becker recently has retired, so I felt like he would have fit in perfectly with what the Patriots do, but they're not going to have him. So, but they still have Chris Hogan. They've got James White, Danny Amendola, Brandon Cooks. and you got Tom Brady pulling the trigger, so they're going to be just fine. I got the Patriots coming in at 12-4. I believe they're going to do really well, and that's not going to be an issue. They're going to win the East, and I'm not sure yet, but it's looking like 12-4 will be enough to get the number 1 seed. So we're going to move on to the NFC East and start with the Eagles. Hold on. I'm having problems with my pen. That's about right. Okay, we got the Eagles. We're going to start at the bottom, and I believe we got the Skins, and I believe the Skins, like I said, I can see the Skins being at the bottom. Alright, let me get over here. Appreciate all you guys watching and tuning in to my NFL preview. Like I said, this is my first time doing this, so just bear with me. Redskins, I'm going to start off with, of course, head coach Jay Gruden. Some of the players that they have coming in this year. Kevin Hogan, they got him from Stanford. He came out last year, but they still have, I guess they got him through a trial. I'm not sure how they got Kevin Hogan, but he's on the team now. Outside linebacker Pernell McPhee, wide receiver Paul Richardson, cornerback Orlando Cendric, and the big one is quarterback Alex Smith. He hasn't shot off as a huge star in the NFL particularly, but he has been a consistent winner. Alex Smith does win ball games. He may not put up the big numbers like stat-wise, although last year he actually had a Pro Bowl caliber year, even though he wasn't selected for the Pro Bowl. The Chiefs decided to opt with their rookie from last year, Delhomme, or however you say it. I personally don't get that, and I don't feel like I feel like Alex Smith doesn't get appreciation. I feel like he is a good quarterback. The Redskins, on the other hand, they haven't done great lately. In this draft, they picked up Deron Payne, a really good defensive tackle from Alabama. Darius Geese, running back LSU, good player. See some of these other names don't really stick out, but let's see. I'm going to take a look at their depth chart. Of course, at running back, they have got Perrine, Samaje Perrine from Oklahoma, and Rob Kelly out of Tulane. They look like the ones who will get the most carries, and then you got Geese and Chris Thompson, who will be rotating in. But most of these NFL teams seem to be going to the running back by committee. They have Doxson and Richardson at wide receiver, and I feel like they have one of the better tight ends in the league with Jordan Reed, provided he stays healthy. He has had a hard time staying healthy. Those of you who play fantasy football, you may know that you can't start this guy because of injuries for the most part. But, with Alex Smith coming in, I feel like they could get better, but I also feel like they could take a step back this year. 5-11, I believe, would be what I would. Excuse me. 5-11 is what I would say they could probably get to. Maybe sneak in another and get in 6. I'm not expecting a whole lot from them this year. And I can see them winding up on the bottom of this division. Okay. Now going to the New York Giants. I believe they will be the next team in this division, second from the bottom. Coach Pat Shurmur, of course, offensive coordinator Mike Shula, and you got quarterback Eli Manning, who's been there for a good while now. He's 37 now, so he's getting on up there. But he's been a good quarterback, not always very consistent. Some of the players they're losing this year: running back Jonathan Stewart, linebacker Alec Ogletree, defensive end Josh Maru, linebacker Kareem Martin, cornerback William Gay, offensive lineman Patrick Onome, and left tackle Nate Solder. Some of the players that they have gained, those are actually the players they've gained. Okay, the players they lost were Justin Pugh, Weston Richard, defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul, offensive guard DJ Fluker, and cornerback Dominique Rogers-Cromartie. Some pretty good players there. But, of course, they have some talent as well, like the ones I read off coming in. Kareem Martin, Josh Maru, Alec Ogletree is a good linebacker. So they've got some good talent coming in, along with Jonathan Stewart. And then, of course, they got the big wide receiver in Odell Beckham Jr. He's a human highlight reel. They've got Sterling Shepard at wide receiver, another good player. So they've got some weapons, some good weapons for Eli Manning to use. And I believe they're going to be a little better defensively as well. Looking at this team as far as their record, one more thing to mention real quick. They had a pretty decent draft. They got Saquon Barkley from Penn State. I feel like he'll fit right in with the Giants and do a good job, both running and catching the ball for Eli in that offense. And another draft pick I'll mention will be Lorenzo Carter, edge rusher from Georgia. He'll be another player that will be able to work in on probably third downs and do a good job there. All right, moving up to the next team, we have the Dallas Cowboys, and I've got them at, of course, you've got Ezekiel Elliott. You've got DeMarcus Lawrence on defense. Let's see. They've got some good. This team usually always has good talent. Dak Prescott has shown to be a good quarterback so far. We'll see how he does this year. Some of the players they got in offensive tackle Cameron Fleming, wide receiver Allen Hurns, offensive guard Marcus Martin, linebacker Joe Thomas, and wide receiver Deontay Thompson. So you can already see they're looking to replace Dez Bryant at wide receiver. They brought in a couple options. They're losing their tight end Jason Witten, but they also have a tight end by the name of Jake Jarwin, who's expected to be a good fill-in for Jason Witten. You can't expect him to be Jason Witten, but if he can fill in that role, he can help Prescott quite a bit at that position. And defensively, Sean Lee at linebacker. I believe this is a pretty good Dallas defense they have here. I don't agree with Jerry Jones that this is the most talented defense that's been there since he's been the owner. I completely disagree with that, but still a good defense nonetheless. You got to wonder, will that Cowboy jinx take effect or not? As far as their record goes, I got them at either 9-7 or 10-6. I'm not entirely sure just yet. I'm gonna looking at their schedule. I feel like they could potentially get to 10-6, and the games I can see them losing. Of course, they got to go to Philadelphia. They'll probably split with Philadelphia, if they can avoid being swept. Atlanta will be a tough one, so that could be 2. And they'll lose probably 2 more. It's just hard to say. I got them at 10-6 more than likely, and which will be enough to finish second in this division, which basically leaves the last team is the Philadelphia Eagles. I got them at 11-5, possibly 12-4. I'll be a little more precise on that number once I start doing the playoffs. I'll have everybody designed a record for sure, but I'm feeling 11-12 wins. In that ballpark is where I've got the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, they still got Nick Foles, who we all know will be a serviceable backup. Of course, head coach Doug Peterson has used what he's had with this team very well. Carson Wentz will be back. I believe Carson Wentz is the better quarterback. I feel like, people say, well, he didn't actually win the Super Bowl. That's true. Had he played, in my opinion anyway, I believe they defeat New England, a little more soundly than what they did. It wasn't really sound. I mean, they won the game, but I feel like they probably put up another touchdown or another 10 points or so and basically separate themselves a little more. And of course they've got Fletcher Cox on defense, Derek Barnett, a defensive end. He reminds me a lot of Reggie White, and strong rusher, pass rusher. Offense, color running back. They got Ajay back. They got Sproles, who's a good running back in on third down. Clement at running back. They're going to run by committee a little bit. They're a good running team. Defensively, they're going to get pressure on the quarterback. I feel like they're one of the better defenses in the league. They're going to be a 1 or 2 seed out of the NFC for sure, in my opinion. And they're gonna compete for the Super Bowl. They're going to be right there. Between them and a couple other teams that I'll get to at a later video, I feel like it's going to be a pretty good dogfight in the NFC. There's going to be good competition in the NFC, and the NFC is going to have a great chance to win the Super Bowl again. So, with that wraps up the video. Of course, just to recap, the AFC, we got the Pats at 12-4. The Bills are next, followed by the Jets, both at 8-8. Then the Dolphins at 4-12. And then going over to the NFC East, we got the Eagles. I'm going to say 12-4, Cowboys 10-6, Giants 8-8, and the Skins at 5-11. So that concludes the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. If you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear why you agree or disagree. Either way, let's get some good discussion going on it, and share the video with somebody that you know, or maybe fans in one of these divisions who may have a different perspective. I'd love to hear it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, where I will be doing I'm not sure if it was the East or the West, the West or probably the AFC and NFC West is what I'm thinking. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys then. This is SportsBanter38, and I am Coach Carroll, and we are out.